This video is specially for my friend and colleague Karan Mathur, who you might have seen on our channel. Now, he likes to play around in the dirt on a pair of wheels, and he had been eyeing this, the new Kawasaki KLX 230 for a while. Now, because life is life, he was busy with other things, so he sent me to answer the question if he should be buying this motorcycle or not. And Karan, my friend, the answer is that you should, but you should not. Confused? Well, let me explain it to you as well as to our audience. Now, for those who are not in the know, the KLX 230 is a dual sport lightweight machine which is crucially road legal. You see, Kawasaki already sells a host of KX and KLX off-road machines, but all of them are only meant for the track, so you can't take them out on a normal road. But this one, you can commute to the track on this bike, and then once you're at the track, this is supposed to be a capable machine. If it is or it is not, well, I'll tell you in a bit. But in terms of design, there is not much to say. It is a good looking motorcycle. What you're seeing here is the accessorized version with these handguards, a few covers and whatnot. But even the stock motorcycle looks really good, and I'm happy that they've included a LED headlamp up front. There is the presence of halogen turn indicators and a halogen tail lamp, which I don't like as much. But surprisingly, the level of fit and finish and the quality of the panels is very good. I have a lot of trouble finding out any places which are obviously badly crafted, and anywhere you look, this looks pretty well made. So kudos to Kawasaki for managing to do that. It also comes with a digital instrument cluster which gives you basic readouts like your speed, the amount of fuel you have, to trip meters, but it also has smartphone connectivity, so you can get alerts for certain things if you pair your smartphone with this motorcycle. And as you can see, it rides on very tall 21-inch front and 18-inch rear wheel. These are spoked wheels, and you have loads of suspension and wheel travel. At the front, you get 240 mm, at the rear, it is 250, and the rear shock is also preload adjustable. Now that leaves you with a seat height of 880 mm, which is actually 20 mm less than what you get on the KLX 230 RS, the track-only version of the motorcycle. And I am 6 feet tall. I'll just get on the bike and take the stand off, and you can see, because the bike is pretty thin, I am able to mostly plant my feet down. Yes, if you are, let's say, 5'10" or below that, you will definitely have some amount of difficulty getting onto this motorcycle. But what we need to understand is that this is a purpose-built motorcycle, so it's not going to have a commuter style seat height of, let's say, 750 mm or something like that. You need a tall motorcycle to get better control and, crucially, to get a lot of ground clearance. You get 265 mm of ground clearance with this motorcycle, and you can literally climb up or down the stairs on this. That is testament to how good the suspension travel and the ground clearance is. And as for the seat comfort, well, it's decently comfortable. It did not feel too stiff and became uncomfortable during my off-road riding. Admittedly, I was standing up for quite a lot of the time, but on this short stint, I did not feel the seat was uncomfortable. Maybe on the road, when I have clocked in more hours, I can give you more insight on this matter. And now let's get to the good stuff. How is this motorcycle to ride? Well, you have this 233cc 4-stroke single-cylinder engine, which is air-cooled, and it produces about 18 bhp and 18.3 Newton meters of torque, which is nothing to scoff at. Yes, it is ever so slightly less than the Hero Xpulse, which it is going to be compared with, but the torque figure is higher. But what works in favor of the KLX 230 are two things. The first is the lightweight motorcycle that it is. It weighs just 139 kilograms, which is almost 20 kgs lighter than the Xpulse. So even though the amount of power output has reduced ever so slightly, you get a whole lot of weight savings, which means that this bike does not feel as underpowered, at least out here on the track. We've not ridden the bike out on the road. Maybe it might be a little different when we take it on the road, but at least on a tight track and even on some of the longer straights, it did not feel underpowered at all. And the second thing which really works in favor of the KLX and why I would recommend it for a lot of people who are looking at off-roading is the way the power and torque is delivered. So this surprisingly is quite a refined engine in the context of it being an off-road machine, and the power delivery has also been tuned in such a way that it's not going to bite at your heels when you twist the throttle, and it's not as monotonous and boring as you would hope a small 200cc engine to be. There is still plenty of power. Drop it down a gear and it just flies off. You have gravel flying all over, sand flying all over if you're exiting a corner and gas it out. So that way it still has a lot of power to get you through a lot of obstacles. You can make jumps. The suspension travel, as I alluded to before, it has been tuned so well that it soaks most of the track bumps. It does not unsettle the bike if you go over a rut, if you go over a small rock, yet it does not feel wallowy. You always feel like you are in control of the motorcycle. You feel connected to the road. So the suspension tuning has been absolutely spot on. Now, you get disc brakes on both ends and you have dual channel ABS with this, but the cherry on top is the fact that using a button on the handlebar, you can actually switch off both the front and the rear ABS. Now in most ADVs that you find in this price bracket, let's say under 5 lakh rupees, you can only switch off the rear ABS. If you want to take things to the next level and want to switch off the front ABS as well, this has got you covered. You don't need to make any modifications to the motorcycle. So like I mentioned, this is actually meant for people who want to pursue off-roading quite seriously. It is a very nice and gentle way of nudging them in that direction. It is not intimidating. Yes, it might look tall initially, but trust me, once you get on this motorcycle, you do a couple of laps and you believe in yourself, this machine can show you so many things and make you learn so many tricks. As for the tires, well, you can see these are thin dual-purpose tires, and I was honestly expecting the bike to struggle a lot, especially on the more tricky terrains, but surprisingly, it did not. It worked very well. I had enough grip. I wouldn't say it was the best, but I had enough grip at almost all times and had no trouble getting through corners, getting the traction. Even if the bike got a little squirrely under power or under braking, I was able to easily correct it and get it in line. As you can probably tell that I am mighty impressed by the capabilities of the Kawasaki KLX 230. Yes, I knew it was going to be good, but I did not expect it to be this great, and I can easily recommend it to Karan and anyone else who wants to get into off-roading and wants a machine that is not too intimidating, yet it is capable. When you learn, when you grow, it can grow with them till a certain point until you get onto the bigger Kawasaki or any other motorcycles. So that ways, it is actually a very good buy. But the reason I said you should not be buying this motorcycle, well, it's because of the price. Now, we don't have the price as of now. The prices will be out in December and the deliveries will begin in January. The bookings are open, but this is a CKD unit. So I don't expect it to be the most competitively priced motorcycle. I would be happily surprised if that was the case. But my assumption is that it will be priced just under 3 lakh rupees, I think so. Now, at that point, you can get other bigger capacity ADVs, and for the people who have a more city-focused life, then those ADVs do make sense for them. But this one is meant for a specific kind of people, for people who want to approach off-road riding, make a career in it, or maybe want to enhance their skills. Well, then this is a great motorcycle, and the biggest plus point is that it is road legal, so you don't need a special truck or borrow a car from a friend, a flatbed, to take your motorcycle to the off-road track. So that is a big plus point. And I think it is also going to make sense for a lot of veteran riders, people who are maybe not as young as they used to be, and while they have the skill, maybe they don't want to muscle around a big, unruly motocross machine. They can still have fun on this and feel young at heart and young in soul. So like I said, this is meant for a specific kind of customer base, and I think if the pricing is just right, Kawasaki has got a big winner at their hands. So all that is left to do now is to wait for the price and wait for the time when we get this machine in Delhi out on the streets, and I'm pretty sure Karan would want to wrestle the keys out of my hands, and I would be happy to give it to him.